And we are back. The Ultra Heelz live on a Friday night from Bray Mysterio's Clifton, New Jersey.
Hurrah.
Hurrah, hurrah.
New tune.
New tune, yes. New tunes.
Courtesy of X-Man Damn.
It's not a sham or a scam. It's the real X-Man Damn on Instagram. Follow me, fam. Yeah, Mr. Off the Blood with Weak Blood. Mr. Off the Blood with a Buddy Knuckle. Mr. Final Phillip. Mr. Live with Beverage, no ice. Mr. Meal for two, but it's real for one. I was SmackDown watching SmackDown. News WWE Network information. Of course.
I thought that was creepy.
No more bombs. They're too loud. I gotta lower them a little bit.
Mr. Pipe Wrench, leave your wife drench. Mr. Show Me the Facts, man. Damn, it's not a scam. How you everybody's doing, my Ultra Hill fam? I missed two of them. I haven't done it in a while. Yeah. I missed a couple of them.
Meal for two, cool. But it's really for one.
I did that one.
You did that one? Okay,
I did that one.
Listen, I'm Mr. Pack down while watching SmackDown.
No, you got that one.
I didn't do Razor Cabron.
Razor Cabron. Yeah.
I'm out of practice. Haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Shout out to the dude.
I'm Darth Messiah, the Dark Side Savior. Always in forever. Always worst behavior. I don't get hard. I stay hard. Mr. DM. Find me in your mama's DM. I'm trying to give your mama a baby and nobody can stop me.
Oh, new one.
Versace.
Yo, my man pulled the future. He said, I left my slippers at Scottie Pippen's wife's house.
I still can't believe that. Anyway, it's funny though. And the other black man on the other side of the screen.
Hey man, you know this man. He's your boy Alex, the motherfucking Hill, the Stanley of podcasting, aka the Mr. Fucked Up Arrival, or wherever the fuck they want to go by nowadays. The aka the Mr. Fuck the Man, the G, and now also known as the man for your bitch in a crossface. To make it go running across.
Ooh, everybody got new lines today. Yeah, you guys didn't get me ready, man. I would have came up with something if you would have told me that today was that day.
Hey, not new room. We're back in Studio B. We haven't been in Studio B forever.
Yeah, man, but I feel like unprepared. I don't have a new tagline. Oh, well.
Yo, I've been using tagline for like a week now at my job. Every time somebody says something about wrestling, I'll be like, I'll put your bitch in a crossface, nigga running a crossface. This is like, damn, so what the fuck? I don't know where that came from, but I like it. I'm using it every day.
And the other voice you hear is the super producer, Mr. Gnarly Marv.
Yo, never say game over. I don't got a new line, but shout out to Kelvin who says, finally, the commission has come back to the Ultra Heelz podcast.
Game over, flip.
I don't know why I missed that song. I'm going to download that now. You said
That's on my playlist, man. I can't get rid of that one.
Kelvin is the Tom Cruise of the podcast. Yo. Unless he's meaning that for me. Now, that's your line, Kelvin. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan.
He's not Tom Cruise. He's more like the Keanu Reeves of the podcast.
I'll take that. I'll be like, whoa.
Morpheus?
I'll take that one.
Whoa.
The Keanu Reeves of the podcast. Whoa.
Morpheus.
Take the red pill? Whoa. I'll take that one. Kelvin is definitely the Tom Cruise in the meaning of like he's in everything. I stream on Twitch, he's there, yo. I go on Facebook Live, he's there, yo. Me and Kelvin.
No, then he'd be the Samuel Jackson since he's black.
Oh yeah, he's the Samuel Jackson. Because every time I go live, he pops in. I'd be like, damn, Kelvin. I feel like we hang out every day, bro. I see Kelvin more than I see my parents.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. That's my boy. Yo, he's the Gordon Soleil of the podcast. Gordon Soleil. I'm not familiar with the name.
I've heard the name. I don't know why though.
You don't know why? Wow. So let's get into wrestling. What you want to talk about? You want to talk about the shows? You want to leave pay-per-view for last because it's so trash? Or you want to
let's just do the pay-per-view first.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
I'm ready for bad news.
You want to talk about the kickoff?
I didn't even watch the kickoff.
The kickoff was Kevin Owens versus Buddy Murphy. It's just a regular match. It lasted about 2 minutes.
He doesn't have a first name anymore. It's just Murphy.
Yeah, but I don't work for WWE, so there's Buddy Murphy. Fuck all that shit. That match was actually a pretty good match, even though they had him running it short.
Yeah.
But it was a good match. It was like a regular Kevin Owens and Buddy Murphy match that kind of sucked because I feel like that should have lasted a lot longer than some matches on their card, but whatever.
And like, how did that end up as the pre-show instead of, wasn't Jeff Hardy and Sheamus supposed to have a bar fight? Or is that tonight on SmackDown?
Yeah, that's tonight on SmackDown.
Okay.
But that Kevin Owens and Buddy Murphy match was the last minute because I think right before the pay-per-view started, Instagram had just posted that they was going to be part of the kickoff show, but it wasn't no kickoff show match at all. It was just going to be pay-per-view, and then that just popped up out of nowhere.
Kelvin says the original WCW commentator before Jim Ross arrived to WCW. What?
Gordon Soleil.
Oh, Gordon. Oh, okay. Copy.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the kickoff show. Now let's get into that first match.
Oh, I'm
Dolph's
yawning.
already
I'm
yawning.
yawning.
Yo, this is bad news.
God damn.
I might make it.
I'm actually disappointed because I've heard a lot of good things about this pay-per-view. I thought Dolph was gonna come in here hyped.
Nah, man.
Nah.
Man.
Nah.
There was too much bullshit.
You hype my pay-per-view and told him along to this point now. You're like, I'm like, yeah, Dark will say something bad about pay-per-view.
All right.
The tables match was great. They kicked it off. It was high energy. I mean, I would prefer these guys do a regular match because they're talented. But it's fine. They did a tables match. There was nothing wrong with it. And they did a double table finish. They stacked 2 tables and Kofi got powerbombed through them. So there was nothing wrong with that match.
There's nothing wrong with it, but there's people online kind of talking shit about it, like, oh, look, another non-tag team that's a tag team. I said, bro, you can't call a non-tag team a tag team. If they've been fighting with each other, if they've been fighting together for a minute and they got chemistry, that's a tag team.
Well, I guess the argument is because WWE just keeps taking singles people that they don't have anything to do with and making them a tag team. Gable and Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre.
But correct me if I'm mistaken, that works sometimes. Like Cesaro and Sheamus. Yeah, that works.
But it's not supposed to be a formula. It's just supposed to happen every once in a while.
It's more of a backup plan.
It's not even it's plan A. Okay, these 2 guys aren't doing anything. Put them in a tag team. It's plan A. It's not plan B. Or C or D.
I guess because it worked occasionally, they're like, let's just try it.
Well, the thing is, Sheamus and Cesaro was the best case scenario. They've done it before, and it's just whatever. We've just gotten so numb to it because they always do it.
Yeah, that's true. I can tell you right now.
Now, I'm not mad that they won because they work as a team. I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad at it either. I like them as a tag team. It's just the fact that I hate the fact that people say, oh, another non-tag team. I'm like, Shinsuke was a single guy, but Vince don't give no push, and Cesaro was good by himself, but the man works with anybody and can become a tag team with no problem with anybody. So I was like, I'm cool with this, but I'm just tired of people saying, oh, a non-tag team won a tag team title. Okay, but name how many tag teams in WWE right now that didn't get fired from the Black Friday shit or not wrestling. There's not much you can do. You just got to work with what you got.
Yeah, but again, it comes back to why do we have to give WWE a pass again?
Oh, no, we're not giving them a pass. We're just saying, Cesaro and Shinsuke, if they're not a tag team, what do they do? Nothing.
Yeah, that's true. But
so
that's
make them a tag team. You got them doing something.
But again, why do we have to give WWE a pass? Because they don't know what to do with people. You have a team of writers and you can't come up with something to do with these people?
Very young. But yeah, it's the truth though. Like I said, it could be worse. We could have had Lost Not the Doorway still wrestling as a tag team, and nobody gave a fuck about them. And getting paid TG status all the way to that Black Friday.
Or these guys could be doing nothing, like not even getting paid at all.
That's true.
Yeah, like I rather see them together and get paid than them be unhappy in the back and be some more people that lead WWE. Even though I'm okay with the WWE, I just like to see them in WWE because that's where they strive at. Outside of shit, I don't know they have the same kind of strive that they go back like to indie circuits where they came from. Like should they go back New Japan? He's a star all over again, no matter fucking whatever happens. Cesaro goes back to like indie wrestling, going to be a big star again, like Drew was.
I just don't see Shinsuke wanting to go back to New Japan. I think he's comfortable now because it's a vacation for his body.
Word. It was hard hitting over there.
It is.
And because he lives in Florida now, he just goes surfing every day. Because he loves to surf.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that in Japan, technically. Japan got more beaches than Cali, but I mean, what did you say, Florida?
Florida. He lives in Florida.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now, that
where he lives
motherfucker
in
whole
Florida.
Instagram page is him, old pictures of him in New Japan and him surfing. Literally it. There's nothing else in between.
Yeah, I was gonna say Japan being an island, being 3 different islands. There's more opportunities to surf out there.
But Florida's tropical, so they have better surfing conditions, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and now that he's closer to home now because he's in Florida, performance center in Florida, shit, he could just go match and go straight the hell home.
Yeah,
true.
The next match was for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defeated Nikki Cross. It was an okay match.
Nikki showed that she could still be singles by herself, though.
Yeah, because we knew Nikki wasn't going to win, but she put up a fight. So, and Bayley won by using Sasha Banks's boss 4-finger ring, punched Nikki in the gut, gave her a move and pinned her.
Hey man, it could have been worse because she could have gave her a punch and gave her this, the dreaded move of death.
Oh, the most devastating move in professional wrestling, the surprise roll up?
Yep.
Yeah, that always goes well when you use it.
Yeah, for people that is good doing it. Let's go to the next.
Now, okay, here we go. The eye for an eye match. Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio. Speak, sir. Speak.
Okay. See how I already knew how the finish was going to be, and seeing how I already knew it was going to be a prosthetic eye, but WWE officials didn't know who was going to have the eye. I already figured it was going to be Ray because, no contract. He basically just wrestling off a handshake at this point right now. But that match, if it wasn't an eye for eye match, it would have been a good little unsanctioned hardcore match.
Yes.
Pushing rules.
Yes.
But once Ray lost the eye, and I was so confused because all I remember seeing is Seth Rollins push him and then hit him, and his eye came out. I was like, I understand where you're trying to go, but the process to it was stupid as hell. And then the eye made it no much worse because it wasn't like it was poked out. It was like Ray had it above it too, between his fingers, holding above his head.
Yeah.
So you don't see it connected to shit.
Yeah.
But Seth Rollins throwing up was probably the most funniest thing to me.
That wasn't even good looking puke.
That's why I said that was the most funniest thing to me. And I didn't understand why he puked. I understand if he'd have walked away from it, like he was disgusted, just walked away. But that vomit, I was like, I'm so happy that they pre-shot this. Because live, it would have just been horrible. It would have been a horrible finish at that point.
Now, going into it, there was some internet speculation that they were going to do CGI to make it look like he actually had an eye hanging, so he didn't have to have his hand there.
Is there precedent for that? Have they ever done that before?
No.
No, this is going to be a first.
Well, okay, they do CGI when they have the Undertaker lightning. That's CGI.
Okay.
Yeah, the Undertaker lightning, the lightning in the ring, the shit like Kane, supernatural shit. They CGI it. When you got a live event, the shit just explode out of the blue.
Okay.
On TV.
I'm just making sure this is not their first time because it would have been bad.
They usually use pyro to cover the CGI, but there is CGI involved.
But that eye thing with CGI, the only way that could have literally worked, and they literally shot it more cinematic and not with the camera they used. They had to shoot the cinematic like they was doing a movie to make it look more realistic than did CGI. A regular live match like that CGI, nah, that wasn't gonna cut it.
You know what? Let me see if I can find the Meltzer ratings for this show. I want to laugh.
At least they didn't do it.
I'm so happy they didn't. The prosthetic eye worked for the time, but if they did CGI, it'd have been a horrible ass match all the way around.
Yeah, I agree.
Now I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to think of how that will look in most movies I've seen CGI. That shit would have looked tacky. I think WWE wouldn't even spend a lot of money on it. They probably would have spent probably $3,000 to have some college kids.
Oh no, it probably would have cost him more, bro. For the timing, for the time until release.
I know we had WWE was that thing was already pre-shot, so for them to do the eye thing, it don't take that long. I've seen the people on YouTube do missing limbs on people and take them 2 hours, 3 hours.
Oh no, I
tops,
bet it
and
would have
they'd be
been
like, I can do it
fast.
faster.
It would have been fast, but I think the faster you want it, the more it's gonna cost. So I think it would have cost him more than 3.
Whoa.
He gave it a good score, didn't he?
Whoa.
I told you, I heard good
He gave it like
positive things
4.
about this.
Meltzer has lost his fucking mind.
Kelvin says the prosthetic guy looked like a Pokeball.
Yeah, it did. It did. No, I'm sorry. It looked like an electrode. That's what it looked like.
Pokeball, go.
Kevin Owens and Murphy, 3.25.
I give him that. That was a regular match for them, so I give him that one.
Okay. Shinsuke and Cesaro versus the New Day, 2.75. That got a lower score. That doesn't make any sense. Bailey Nikki Cross, 3.25. It wasn't that good.
That should have been 2.
It wasn't that good. Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. Just take a guess.
4.5.
4.
Wow.
Oh damn.
Wow.
He's lost his fucking mind. Well, he did.
That was not a 4-star match.
Well, here's the thing. He gave the fucking the football fiasco at whatchamacallit, at AEW. He gave the football fiasco a fucking 4. So I guess this gets a 4.
But the football fiasco was more. You got a 4 because they used the whole football field and the outside versions of the football field. That match was just in the ring. It didn't go nowhere else.
Meltzer has lost his fucking mind.
Hey man, you got to understand. Meltzer watched WWE matches with a bottle of lotion and a roll of napkins next to him.
All right. Next up was Asuka and Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship. Another fucked up finish. So
It was a good match and they fucked it up.
At some point, the ref gets knocked out. Now, what happens when a ref gets knocked out? What's normally happens? You bring in another ref, right?
Another ref comes out.
Okay.
Yep.
Instead, some time goes by. You do a couple moves. There's still no ref. Sasha tries to pin Asuka, and Bayley just goes over to the ref laying on the ground, rips his shirt off, puts the ref shirt on, inside out, mind you. It was inside out because you didn't see the WWE logo.
Yeah.
And she counts the pin. And Sasha declares herself the new Raw Women's Champion.
I do give it to Bayley though. She counted the pin like a real referee. She gave the real 3 slow count, not the fast count.
Yeah. Yeah.
She tried to make it seem like she really won the title officially. Because, somebody else did that a long time ago, One Night Stand, RVD. But still, niggas win titles that way nowadays.
Oh, speaking of One Night Stand, because I wanted to see some real extreme wrestling, I watched One Night Stand 2006 before Extreme Rules came on. Because I wanted to see John Cena get booed out of the Manhattan Center.
Booed? Oh, you mean when he threw his shirt? They threw it back.
They threw it back like 17 times. 17 times they threw it back. Now, however,
that was the best night ever.
However, they did have a fucked up finish in that show too, because the Sabu and Rey Mysterio match finished with an injury that wasn't an injury. Because remember when Rey Mysterio and Sabu there's a table that's bridged between the railing and the ring. Sabu throws Rey Mysterio out onto it. Mysterio stands up, and Sabu tries to do his Arabian press tornado DDT. Well, he does it, and they go through the table, and the doctor just comes out and says match over.
I guess Vince got scared of his people getting hurt. You need to make money off of niggas.
Yeah.
Can't make money off you while you're at home. Roman Reigns.
Okay, what did Meltzer give this match?
He gave that a 4.
Yes, he did.
I swear, I bet he gave it a 4.
He got a 4. I got a 4.
I fucking knew it.
How do you give?
Like I said, the match was a good match, except for that ending was trash, and that was a last minute decision by Vince.
Yeah. I forgot the reasoning
Sasha
why.
can put on good matches. Sasha can put on good matches, and she's a sponge. She can take damage. And, Asuka hit hard, and she can perform in the ring. I was like, this is a good going match of back and forth between these two. And then that finish, and I was like, what the fuck was that about? Man, this shit was good on its own. Nobody needed to fuck with this match.
Yeah. Okay. If you go look at the WWE's website, Asuka is still listed as the champion. Stephanie came out. Well, she didn't come out on Raw. She was on the screen, and she made the announcement about the the match to determine who the champion is. Okay, if this was a bogus finish, why not just straight up say Asuka is still the Raw Women's Champion and Sasha's going to get another chance? Why are we allowing Sasha to run around with the belt?
That is true, because she did tell Asuka that you didn't win the match either, so that doesn't mean you're a champion. But she didn't really lose, so that still makes her champion.
So she did not lose. She is still the champion. I mean, I get it.
True.
I understand it's the heel thing to do, to steal the belt and walk around with it. But at some point, you have to say, okay, Sasha, you have to give her the belt back. I mean, that needs to be a plot point.
Or do an NXT thing and be like, well, guess what? The match never finished, so I'm just going to take the belt from you until the match is resumed and we get a real straight finish.
Yeah.
Now you got these two running around as tag team and both women's champ. What the fuck? Like, I understand there's some work. I understand there's some workhorses, but what the fuck? Like that should have not necessary.
Yeah. Now Kairi Sane, I believe this was her last show for WWE, right?
Her last match was Raw.
Was Raw. Well, no, I'm sorry. She taped another match that'll show next week, and I believe that's her it for her.
No, I think it was this one.
I thought I could have swore they said she taped two.
No. It was this one because in the back they had her crying in the back, and it was like the emotional win that she needed. Because I think she left on WWE with good terms, so they let her win her final match before she leaves.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Because I was confused. Like they really let her win on the way out, because I could have, or maybe they just taped the two matches like weeks ago, and that's why it felt like there was two matches. But whatever. Then we had our WWE Championship match. The stipulation was the Extreme.
Dolph Ziggler can use Extreme Rules. Anything goes for him.
Yes.
But Drew had to wrestle a regular match from his point of view.
Correct. Now,
and I get it.
Yeah.
Like I get it. It's a heel move to do. You know, I'll make a match. I get to use weapons. You can't. It's a heel move to do, but like Dolph Ziggler can wrestle. Why the fuck do he need the weapons?
Right. Now, the other thing was Dolph Ziggler didn't announce the stipulation because he won some qualifying match to be the one to choose the stipulation. So he waited until right before the match started to say what the stipulation was. So, you know, trying to put Drew McIntyre even further at a disadvantage. It was all right. I'm not going to say it was the greatest thing because there wasn't really a memorable moment from the match.
No, it really wasn't one. No, it was not a memorable moment for that match. Nothing about it.
Yeah, and Mr. Meltzer gave it a 4.
Hey man, you know he liked Drew, and you know he liked Dolph Ziggler, so you should have seen that coming.
Yeah, I guess. And then our quote unquote main event, we had the swamp fight between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. Now, they definitely redeemed themselves from the House of Horrors match, but
crappy match.
As I said at WrestleMania, once you have success with these cinematic matches, they're going to keep doing them, and they're not going to be as good. At one point, you have Braun Strowman. He's laying on the ground. He's having like some sort of illusion, and he sees himself in the black sheep mask, and he's scared. Why are you scared of an illusion of yourself from a previous time?
I don't know. Ask Kane when he saw the Luke Gallows come out dressed as him on Raw.
Yeah. And then there was Alexa Bliss dressed as Sister Abigail. And she was trying to tempt Braun Strowman. It's like, you know you want me. You always did want me. You can have me.
Just come home, Braun. Just come home. Home to where?
Now, stupidity aside, that was a good cameo because I didn't see that coming.
I ain't gonna lie, it looked like they shot that big. It looked like they shot that shit right before the match started in the back of the performance center. Like it hit harder if she was actually there in person, and it happened. But seeing how it was like, oh, she's saying this shit like she's in the back on the Titantron talking like, oh, I'm talking to you via Skype in a whole other place in the world, but technically I'm literally in the back in an office room with the camera on me and the lights turned off.
Yeah, they just they just did her like on a green screen in the performance center, and then like added her to the
thing that sucked the most is the person they had under the little veil. You could see her face. That bitch didn't even have blonde hair. That bitch had like black hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you know, wrestling fans are detailed. We watch everything, man. You could at least pull it off a little better. Got somebody at least stand in for it right there.
Remember when Nikki Cross was supposed to be Sister Abigail?
I wish he was. It made more sense.
Yeah. So the match ended as the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt attempted to drown Braun Strowman, and they had a scuffle under the water, and up pops the Fiend. So that was a signal that Bray Wyatt won. And the whole thing about the Fiend changing people, does this mean that since we've already seen the Black Sheep version of Braun Strowman, does that mean he now reverts to the Exotic Express version of Braun Strowman?
I don't know. Was that the Laker reincarnation?
Could be.
If it is, then I'm okay with that kind of little plot twist.
In my cinematic universe of myself, the Lake of Reincarnation and the Hardy compound is right next to the Wyatt compound.
Basically, it kind of really is. They had that compound fight, and it wasn't like the Wyatts had to drive far. Like they was like, nigga, that's a town over. We could just pull up.
Because you know how the Lake of Reincarnation is like all the way to the back of Matt Hardy's property, and then there's more woods. If you just cut through the woods, that's where the Wyatt compound is.
That makes sense for that to happen, but
it's kind of
in my mind, I see that. In my mind, I see this match going the same exact way, but more like the New Day versus the Wyatts. Because even though that was shot cinematic, that made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
What did Mr. give that? Did he get it like a 3.5?
He did not rate the match.
Oh,
because it wasn't a match. Same thing I said about the Firefly Funhouse match. There was no bell. There was no bell.
There was no bell for the fucking Boneyard match either.
Yes,
He rated that shit.
Yes, there was. There was a bell for it. Go back.
Really? I ain't no damn
go
bell.
back and watch it. There was a bell. There was a bell to start and end the match.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they can just carry around bells and ding them when they need to have matches in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Want to do Slammiversary? I didn't really see most of the matches.
Slammiversary, because Slammiversary was actually pretty good. It's fucking weird. That was fucking off the chain.
Because all I saw was the men's match and the women's title match. That's all I saw.
The tag team match, the
more
title match.
Okay.
The women's brawl for no one contender. All of them shits is actually good. Like it's the one time that people slept on Impact and Impact went off. Like if you was rating pay-per-view between Impact and Extreme Rules, Impact won. And that was like just on GP. They just won. Like every match they had was like a good match. Like, they didn't have a match that was like, okay, this shit kind of boring. Like as soon as it got boring, it like ramped right back up again. I was like, damn, this shit's actually good. What is happening here? And then a lot of surprises.
That's exactly what the guy at my job was saying. He was like, every match was solid. There was no letdowns.
It wasn't. And then a lot of returns, a lot of people showing up. Hell, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson had a talk in the beginning about how they jumped over the Impact, and they were like, the rules are true. You all called it right, and we're here in Impact Zone, going by the Good Brothers. And their shirts went on sale that night, and dark, they sold out.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I absolutely believe it.
They sold out of the Good Brothers shirts. They sold out so bad when they came back on Impact that following week. They said, "Don't worry, the shirts sold out, but they're restocked now." And I heard it sold out again.
Damn.
So people were invested in them being there. But like I said, they started off the show as like a kickoff show. No, it started on like the kickoff show.
Uh-huh.
They basically in the ring talking about matches and how they had jumped over ship. And I'm okay with this. But then as soon as they got done talking, as anniversary started, bro, it was like they put their foot on the gas and they just went. Like, I guess they realized we have so many people coming over here, bro. We can do a lot more now than what we was doing before.
Yeah, because you had the Good Brothers show up. You had Eric Young in the title match. You had Heath Slater show up.
Machine Gun show back up.
You had Heath Slater show up on Tuesday. You had EC3 show up on Tuesday. Who am I missing? There was one more person, wasn't there?
Good Brothers, EC3,
Eric Young,
the Motion Machine Guns, Heath Slater. That basically it.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the opening match was Motor City Machine Guns versus the Rascals. The Rascals won. Meltzer gave
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Before you go for that match was so old school Motor City Machine Guns and Impact Wrestling, bro. I was like, I hope these guys stay. Because Alex Shelby looks the same. And what's his name? Chris Sabin?
I don't remember their names.
Yeah, Alex Shelby and Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin, I thought he retired from wrestling at the Impact. He didn't wrestle no else. He literally put himself in retirement and stopped wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And the show back up and looked like he never stopped wrestling. I was like, bro, I'm impressed as fuck. Like, I'm surprised he even showed back up. Really?
Meltzer gave that a 3.25.
Yep, that actually deserved it.
And then we had the women's whatever for the number one contenders match. Alicia Edwards versus Havoc, Kiera Hogan, Kimberly, Kylie Ray, Nevia, Madison Rain, Rosemary, Susie, Tasha Steeles, and Taya Valkyrie.
I forgot old girl name that's RVD's girlfriend.
Katie Forbes.
She came out. Bruh, she came out. She wrestled. Bruh, her outfit alone was the show. She came out like this wrestling sports bra, like every other chick. And it was like wrestling booty shorts, like how Sasha don't wear.
Yeah.
But the back part of it was a thong, and it was see-through around the ass cheeks. So she came out there with two money guns, shooting money, and then turned around and then clapped her ass at the camera. I said, what the fuck is happening here?
I gotta look at that.
That's all she does on her Instagram is twerk with her fake ass cheeks.
Hey man, her fake ass cheeks got her a couple of good clotheslines, a little dance show. I ain't gonna her clothesline like that Phoenix clothesline. She was hitting bitches hard as hell.
Who won?
What do you give that?
Kylie Ray won that match, and Meltzer gave it a 0.
Could have gave some messed up deals, but whatever.
0.
Gave it a 0.
And Champion Jobber said, and her fake abs.
Oh yeah, her abs, her tits, her whole, she's all plastic.
Everything on. The only thing on her is real is probably her fingernails.
No, because she's got those long ass pointy fingernails.
Probably not then.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. Next match: Willie Mack versus Chris Bay. That was the X Division Championship, right?
Yep, and that match went hard because Willie Mack kind of knocked Homeboy out for a second.
Okay.
Like he was kind of stunned because Willie Mack was going to jump over the top rope, and you could see him telling, and you can see him looking at Homeboy like he's ready for him to get up, and you can see him do the mouth movement of like, "Are you good, bro? Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?" And then he get ready to go run. I say, "Yo, did he really knock him out? Because he's outside the ring for a good minute. Like he didn't get his spot. He didn't get to his spot in enough time." And I was like, "Yeah, he kind of knocked him out for real by accident."
Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo, who left NXT in June, I believe, signed with Impact at the end of June, was only on TV for like 3 weeks, is now the Impact Knockouts champion. Salute to her for that come up. And they're spelling her name correctly in Impact because, WWE wants to fuck up your name when you want to use your own name.
Yeah, I'm happy she won because WWE was using her as a beat up stick for real. So for her to go there and actually get some shine, and they got trusted her to be a champion for right now. I'm okay. I don't see her being a long term.
I think she was used more as a jobber on Raw than she appeared on NXT in this calendar year.
She was.
Yeah. So that was a nice come up for her, and yeah, she's a new Impact Women's Champion. Meltzer gave it a 2.75.
Yeah, it was kind of short match. So it was at 5-3.
Yeah. It was a standard women's match. They didn't do too much, but they didn't do anything stupid. To me, that's more important. Not doing stupid shit is more important than doing something, phenomenal in most cases. Then we had the North versus Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan for the Impact Tag Team Championships, and I kind of wanted to see Shamrock win as much as I hate Sami Callihan, but the North won.
The North won?
Yeah, the North
won.
And
then right after their match, they cut a promo saying that they were the best tag team. And most of the Machine Guns came out saying that they was granted a one-time opportunity to fight them this week for the Impact Tag Team titles.
Yeah, and that was the main event on Impact, right?
Yep. Actually was a good solid match also.
Yeah, and Meltzer gave that a 3.
Yeah, that was a solid 3 match between them. So I give him that one. It looked like he watched Impact this time and didn't suck nobody dick.
Then we had the what is it called? It was the old school rules match. I have no idea what that means. For the unsanctioned TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Moose versus Tommy Dreamer.
Yep. Basically, the original old school match was basically WWE's version of a pure wrestling match.
What does that even mean?
Basically, it was a regular TNA World Heavyweight title match without the weapons, the show-off moves, or any fuckery.
And Meltzer gave it a 1.5.
I'll tell you, bro, Meltzer be playing with his ass when he watch shows, bro.
Oh, man. I don't ever come back from that one.
I don't think he has one either. He probably rated me a 2.5 for how I be talking about him.
But I do like the new white belt. That is one title that looks good in white.
Yeah, it does. Even though they don't go by TNA.
Because when Cody debuted the White Intercontinental Championship for WWE, I was like, oh, that's popping. But then it just got warm. I didn't like it after 2-3 years. I was like, they need to go back to a black belt.
It got dirty quick, and that's why I like the women's title over the tag team title. They get dirty so fast. Like, when they take professional photos and you look at them, you be like, damn, nigga, who else be touching y'all belt? Like, do y'all throw that shit outside in the dirt sometimes? Like, god damn.
Now, hold on, I think I mentioned this before, but the new Intercontinental Championship, as good as the belt looks, the belt itself, to me, brings it down a notch because it's like that really cheap leather that looks like plastic. Remember how the Cruiserweight Championship had those ridgy spots on it and it just looked like plastic? The IC belt looks just like that, but it's hard to see because it's black. But when you get really close-up shots, you see it. It just doesn't look good, in my opinion.
Somebody on YouTube that does 2K20 videos, I still don't know why that game is still being played. They went in there and did some title updates, and they turned that title white, like the original IC title was.
Yeah,
it looks so much better as a white leather than it does black. Because that gold pops a lot more with all the details in it.
Yeah, because it is like a darker style of gold. It's not really shiny.
Yeah, somebody did a white one, and I think that nigga YouTube channel people was like, "Bro, that belt look way better white leather than it does black leather." So I don't know. I guess if people complain about it too much WWE, they might turn that bitch teal color like they did for the Ultimate Warrior.
And our main event, Eddie Edwards is the new Impact Champion, defeating Ace Austin, Trey, Rich Swann, and the returning Eric Young. Good to see.
Young,
go ahead.
Eric Young story for that made more sense than that whole entire match.
Yes. That's all I was going to bring
And
up.
I was like, I'm happy. I'm happy they bring him back. And then after listening to that interview he did, I said that man deserved what's rightfully his at this point.
But I'm kind of mad that he shaved his beard earlier this year because now that he's back in Impact, I want the beard. But, you know.
Hey, man, you know how WWE is, man. They need you to cut your shit. You might look like everybody else, even though there was nobody else in that bitch with the bald head with the long-ass beard. It was just him. But, you know, I digress.
Yeah, stupid. How does Chris Jericho say it? Bad booking by crappy creative, or crappy creative by bad booking. It
was bad creation by bad. It was bad booking by a stupid creation that don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, but it made sense. But like I said, Impact actually went off. Like they went off. But the thing is about that title match. After Eddie Edwards won, the Good Brothers came out and celebrated with him with some beers.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. That means they're gonna be together. It's like help for him, or they just celebrating because he won, and he kind of reminds you of like he should be part of the Good Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, they went off on that match. Like if we made it a 1 out of 10 stars for that pay-per-view, they literally hit a solid 8 on that shit alone. Even though that women's battle royal match was like, every match was great.
Speaking of beer and celebrations, over on AEW, Kenny Omega. Well, I think this was last week since we were off last week. Kenny Omega tried to apologize to FTR by bringing out some beer to share with them. But they ended up dumping the beer on him. And the Young Bucks stole the keys to their truck from the Butcher and the Blade and gave them back their truck.
Oh, that's Butcher and Blade truck?
No. That's FTR's truck. But they stole it. And they've been driving it around.
Oh, yeah.
But meanwhile, the commentators are saying the police don't know where the truck is.
Wait, where they at again? Where's the AEW at?
They're in Jacksonville.
Yeah, then that sounds about right. Like they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, and then this week, what was it? Hangman Page was hanging out in the bar as usual, and he was having a couple drinks with FTR. So it seems they're teasing the breakup between Omega and Page again. And now, because Paige is now hanging out with FTR, FTR, they have the beef that we're waiting for with the Young Bucks, but at the same time, they're kind of pissing off Kenny Omega. So, as I said before, they need to beat Paige and Omega first, win the titles, and then go face the Young Bucks. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Then you can have Hangman and Omega finally fight it out that they should have had a while back.
And the controversial finish to Brian Cage versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. They were selling the previous, what was it, bicep injury that Brian Cage had, and Dean Ambrose. No, I'm sorry, I just said Dean Ambrose. Jon Moxley, same person, exploiting that injury during the match. He put him into an armbar, and Taz threw in the towel. And then in the promo, Taz said, I've had a bicep injury before. I'd rather Brian Cage live to fight another day than to sit on the shelf for 6 months.
And I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of good storytelling right there.
Yeah, good storytelling, but this is also supposed to be your big, your newest meaty monster. Pause. I didn't mean to put meaty in there. But yeah, this is. It doesn't. It's good storytelling, but with his character, it doesn't fit. He's supposed to just be this big badass that fucks people up, not somebody looking for some pity because he might get injured.
Yeah, but like I said, once they exploited the arm injury on him, it just made it seem like, you know, as big as the monster he got, he's still human, and you're basically about to have him lose clean. So throwing in a towel, it makes it look like, oh, you didn't beat him at 100%. You beat him only because he was temporarily injured.
Yeah. But this just follows the trend of AEW doesn't know what to do with monster heels. Brian Cage. Where's Lance Archer? When's the last time he's been on TV?
He was there this week, beating up people in the back of he beat up people in the back. He literally grabbed somebody in the back and threw him through the ceiling in a push-up towel.
Where's Wardlow? When's the last time he's won a match?
First of all, you said Wardlow, and my brain cannot picture what he looks like right now.
MJF's muscle, Wardlow. That Wardlow.
Oh.
Yeah.
He with MJF, wherever the hell he doing.
Luke Harper, because I can't remember what he calls himself. Mr. Brody Lee. When's the last time he's done something seriously important, not just, dragging around his goons?
This week on AEW.
I wouldn't call that important. I just call that dragging around his goons.
It's dragging around his goons, but dragging around his goons recruiting niggas.
Yeah. Because he's got Colt Cabana, but Colt Cabana's got COVID, so now he's off TV. He was literally just on there this week. Was he? He was back this week?
Yeah, he was up there this week.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Hangman Page had a match against somebody, and he won. And Brody Lee and the Dark Order came out and literally said, "Look, Omega's not out here with you right now. The Bucks are not out here with you right now, and we can jump you and hurt you." He said, "But we refuse to because we see potential, and you should join us." And all of them came out, and Colt Cabana was in the middle. Out of the whole lineup, stand up on the Titantron.
Really? I didn't. For some reason, I didn't notice.
He was up there because even Uno was at the end. The other dude was at the next to him. Colt Cabana was in the middle, and then two dudes with the masses was on the other side. Colt Cabana was like directly in the middle, but when the camera went back,
5 and 9.
He was literally right there.
I believe that was 5 and 9 or 5 and 7, something like that.
5 and 7, 5 and 9, 6 foot, 7 foot, whatever the fuck they want to be called.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot up. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8
I
foot
love you that.
up.
But yeah, like he literally had he literally went out there to recruit him, and when Hangman said no, they tried to jump him, and then FTR came out for the save. Then Omega came out damn near the last minute when it was all over.
Okay, Cody, the last 2 weeks. Last week he defended the TNT, the AEW TNT Championship, or as I like to call it, the 6-letter title, against Sonny Kiss. Now, I believe this is the first, well, maybe second match that Sonny Kiss has had on Dynamite and not Dark. And the internet had a lot to say.
They had a lot to say about Sonny Kiss being openly gay, going for the world title, and Cody Rhodes had something to say back to him.
He said, "Fuck you."
He said,
"Fuck you. I'm going to do what I want."
Basically. I'm okay with Cody saying that.
Now, other than Sonny Kiss's sexual, what's the correct word? Sexual preference? Is that politically correct these days? I forget which word is which is politically correct.
I'm gonna say that's politically correct.
Or his gender
gender preference.
Gender preference or what? Okay, I'm skipping out on politically correct words right now. Anyway, put all that aside. He wasn't ready for this match. There were multiple points in this match. He was out of place. You could clearly see Cody dragging him through a move. And it wasn't that it was sloppy. You could clearly see Cody yelling at him, do this, do that. And there was one point where they had like the ref distraction spot, and Cody looks back and he's yelling, "Schoolboy me!" He yelled it like 3 times, "Schoolboy me!" And Sonny Kiss is just laying there doing nothing. And finally, he schoolboys him. And, now he's got to look all surprised. Oh, I got schoolboyed.
I'm telling you, if the crowd was there, it would be unnoticeable. Without the crowd there, everything is noticeable now.
Yeah. Well, I think that one would have noticed too, because he looks back and says it 3 different times. So that one would have been noticeable even with a crowd.
It would have been noticeable, but you wouldn't have heard it.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't have heard it. Yeah. And then this week, how did they advertise the match? It was a veteran indie wrestler coming to challenge for NXT the TNT Championship. Is that how they advertised it? So it ended up being Eddie Kingston, formerly of.
That really surprised the hell out of me.
Formerly of LAX.
Yeah, formerly from Impact Wrestling, formerly from NWA Wrestling.
Yep. And he got injured like 2 minutes into the match. He was limping around for the rest of the match. For some reason, Cody decided to do a tack spot. It was just random.
It surprised the hell out of me.
You know why? Because they wanted to do Extreme Rules too. That's why. Because then the Bucks had their Falls Count Anywhere match, and they decided to jump off the entranceway, like Matt Hardy. One was Matt Hardy, one was Shane, because one did a swanton, one did an elbow drop.
Hey man, they did Jeff Hardy thing from back in TNA from 2006, 2007.
Oh no! When did he do that? He did that in WWE first, because that was during.
He did WWE first, but AEW's walkway is Impact's old walkway.
Yeah.
And he did it off there too through Abyss, but he did it from off there over the walkway onto the ground where Abyss was on the table.
Damn. Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm dying.
Hey man, no dying over there.
I can die in 7 minutes. Let's hit some news.
What nudes? What
news?
Yeah, news.
We'll get to the nudes after when we get off the air.
I heard Mar said nudes. No, not nudes. News.
Yeah, we'll get to the nudes when we go off air. You sent me something about Randy Orton is now locker room leader of Raw. I thought he was already. Who else is on Raw that is a veteran that has respect of Vince and the boys at the same time? I always thought it was Randy anyway. Once Roman. At one point it was Big Show. Big Show was locker room leader, even though he wasn't wrestling. He wasn't one of the guys went to because he wasn't wrestling, but he's been in the business so long. Right. He was able to talk to people on the side without having to go out to the ring. And then it was Roman because it's his yard now. So Roman was the locker room leader, but he got moved over to SmackDown. But now he's not there at all. So
and then Seth was locker room leader too.
But that didn't last very long.
Messiah thing.
That didn't last very long. Oh, and then he threw that hissy fit where he was arguing with who was he arguing with? Meltzer, right? He was arguing with Meltzer on Twitter.
Yep.
And that's like when everybody lost respect for him. Was like, why are you arguing with Meltzer? And he was arguing with fans too over stupid stuff. Because that's why he was Universal Championship, and they had him looking like a complete joke.
That shit, he had the right to argue with people. You make him like ass, and you just made the man look like the locker room leader in the back and the guy in the front.
Mm-hmm. Eric Young did an interview and talked about how WWE quote is a disaster on how it's organized. Groundbreaking news.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
groundbreaking news. We already knew that, but
it's stuff that we knew. It's stuff that we already knew of.
Yeah.
But Eric Young is the first wrestler to leave out of there to actually say that in the back they want you to be like everybody else, and they have no direction for nobody except for the top guys.
Well, going back to FTR on when they did Jim Cornette's podcast, I think they were talking about when they were put into an angle with the New Day, because the New Day was one of the people that they were like, "Oh, we want to work with the Revival. We want to work with the Revival," because this is when they weren't being used. So Revival finally got back on TV. They were working with the New Day. They show up to the building one day. You know, they had already known that, okay, we're gonna have a match with the New Day today. Yada yada yada. They get to the building. Oh, you don't have a match tonight. Like, what? We had an angle plan for tonight. It was like, nah, it got canceled. That's.
I think they talk about that on their podcast too, because they talk about certain wrestlers, but they don't say their names. Like they call Vince the man that should not be named.
Yeah. Oh, who did they have on their podcast this week? I forgot. I
forgot. I haven't listened to the one this week.
It was a chick. I'll probably remember as soon as we get off the air.
I started listening to old ones, and I started listening to how like they got together, how all the names they was given, and how they laughed at them, how they had fun doing the Thanksgiving matches.
Yeah,
so they like that's their favorite type of match. And the one I listened to before was the one they had where they was talking about how they had to go heel, and they knew they had to go heel, but Vince didn't want them to do it because he felt like them being what they were from the start was better, but they knew for them to get over, they had to be heel. And Xavier Woodley said, he told Vince, he said, look, let us get on the mic, let us talk. If I can get them to boo Kofi Kingston as a heel, see how I hate the baby face of all baby faces, he said, then you can just go ahead and just, let me go. And he said, Vince said, so I can fire you. He was like, yeah. He said, all right, cool, you get a mic tonight. He said Vince was so on board they fired him so bad if it didn't work.
Speaking of New Day, did you see the bonus episode of The Last Ride?
I saw parts of it.
Okay, so at some point when Xavier Woods first came to WWE, while Undertaker was still working semi-regularly on the road, he gave the Undertaker a gavel, because he's the judge of Wrestler's Court.
Oh yeah. I heard about this.
He as a gift, he gave the Undertaker a gavel.
Undertaker never used it.
Never used it. But the Undertaker did say that's one of the best gifts he's ever gotten.
Yeah.
They had one episode they were talking to Big Show, and I think it's the most funniest episode ever because Big Show talked about how he got the TV show on Netflix. He said, dude, I pestered Vince McMahon for 2.5 years to the point that Vince would just send me away or just duck and dodge me to get that damn show off the ground. And it was so funny because he was like, yeah, we can be back in Gorilla. I'm going to have a match. He started looking at Vince and go, hey, Vince, we're talking about a TV show. I can do it. I can be funny. I can do a show. And Vince goes, I'm tired. Dude, we can talk about it after the match. He said, when the match will be over, he goes to the curb, Vince be gone. He said Vince ducked and dodged him for almost over a year before Vince was like, damn it, if I give you the show, if I help you do the show, will you stop? And he goes, yeah. He said that's when Vince gave him an opportunity to do a Netflix show. he said he hasn't asked Vince for shit ever since then.
I still haven't watched it.
Also funny. It's funny as hell because it's Big Show as a wrestler, but it's like he's a wrestler, but you can see the outside life of him at home. So he walks around like the undisputed title from when he won it before. He has the U.S. title like hanging in the background and shit. Like he has all the stuff that he has accomplished over the years as props. But he grabs them every once in a while and actually still do shit from like around that time era.
Yeah.
Just to keep reminding people of, I was a champion at one point.
Yeah.
I was this at one point. I'm a terrifying man, but I'm nice. Like it's funny as hell. Like it's weird because you would think, oh yeah, this show gonna be trash. But like my Netflix gave it like I think it was like 4.5, almost 5 stars on Netflix.
Damn.
I think it's a good concept.
So people watch it.
I think it's a good concept.
And also another thing too, when they were talking about Kofi Kingston talking about the King. Kofi Kingston said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "Show, you're the reason why my chest the way it is, right?"
Oh yeah.
And Big Show goes, "What you mean?" He goes, "Them chops." He said, "Nobody told me when you gave the chops, I had to like impact the blow." He said, "Nobody told me that." And you hit me kind of real hard the first few times. He said, my chest ain't been the same, so I blame you for that.
You also sent me about Adam Cole going off on the Pat McAfee show.
Boy, oh my God.
Man, it was a work.
Interview went so south at the last few minutes.
It was a work. I mean, it was a shoot
I know,
interview.
but it was great.
But it was a work. Come on. Adam Cole's
I know,
not
but
stupid
it was
enough.
a great work. But it was a great work because that dude is actually annoying as fuck too.
No, it was a good work because like the people in the studio all went along with it without looking obvious. That's what made me think, like, is Adam Cole really about to fight these people? It's like, nah, he's not. Because
like when he said I was longest reigning NXT champion, he goes, yeah, you had help undisputed. He goes, yeah, that sounds like you on your football team you could be on. You had help from your guys. You didn't win no game. You had help. He was like, me, I didn't have help. He said out of my longest reign, most of my matches was solo, and I won all my matches. He said, my team is there, but I won the majority of the matches. And I was like, he got a point. Like, this era came out, most of the title matches, a total of like 10 times.
Yeah.
But 10 times out of being that long of a champion, that's still not enough time to say, oh, you had help. No, they wasn't out there every time. You literally won your matches dolo.
Yeah. Yep.
But then we called him a small guy. Adam Cole hates that shit, boy. And I don't blame him because Daniel Bryan hated it too. So when he put that mic over and got him and said, fuck you, I was like, if this will work, this is a good way to work to get that off. At the same time, homeboy looked like he was scared as fuck, like he was going to beat him. Adam Cole was going to beat his ass. But then you hear him go, Adam Cole walk out, go, get out. That's right, get out. I said, yeah, that sounds like a nigga that was scared to get his ass whooped in real life.
Yeah. And one last thing to cover the title of the show. The Demo God, Chris Jericho. Why all of a sudden, we might have covered this 2 weeks ago, but why all of a sudden did AEW have to change the narrative after losing the ratings 3 weeks in a row that the demo is more important than total viewership? Now, mind you, after doing that promo, AEW won last week, and they won this week by the biggest margin.
And they can't brag about it.
In this calendar year. And now you can't brag about it because you said the total viewership doesn't matter.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Well, they shot themselves in the pinky toe like Harlem Nights.
He shot himself in the foot with that. Kelvin says, question, which work was better, MJF and Stone Cold or Adam Cole and Pat McAfee?
MJF Stone Cold.
If you want to talk about legit like heat
because
and people thinking it's real, MJF and Stone Cold. But you want to talk about like
MJF
presence?
is MJF all the time. He doesn't turn it off. You watch Adam Cole, he's on up, down, down a lot now. He's a cool dude. So he turns off Adam Cole and he's just himself. MJF doesn't turn off MJF. He's MJF all the time. He flips off little kids. He says fuck you to anybody that wants an autograph. He's MJF all the time.
Yeah, like I said, storytelling wise and showing off, MJF and Stone Cold. Yeah. But visually wise, for that little moment, Adam Cole and Matt McAfee.
Yeah.
Because it looked like something was going to go down for real in there. And then when he pushed that one stagehand that was on the radio with him, he pushed him. And you hear everybody go, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, yeah, visually, this looks better because you can see it. But the Stone Cold, it was more.
Oh, you turned into a straight robot now, Alex.
Yeah, like more audio, so you couldn't really see it, like motherfuckers smiling on the side of the thing. You can see they like laughing, like they notice it. So just hearing it was like, oh yeah, these niggas about to fight for real, like it's about to go down. But watching Adam Cole, do it, as soon as he knocked that mic over and he got up, he was like, oh shit, somebody might get slapped the fuck out of it in the next 2 seconds.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else before we go?
Not that I can think of. I think we talked about everything. Everybody switching over to different brands. Mm-hmm. Heath Slater finally getting a chance. Brian, what's his name? Kurt Hawkins. I'm not going.
Oh yes, Kurt Hawkins. That's one we forgot to mention. Kurt Hawkins showed up.
Did you see his tweet?
No, I don't think so.
His tweet goes, and I quote, "At Vince McMahon, I love you. I'm sorry. Super kick. #new beginnings."
Nice.
I was like, he got some tag links in it. I'm not okay with this. Now I just need to figure out where Zack Ryder going to go. Now he changed his whole persona and got a new belt. Where's he gonna go?
I feel like he'd probably stick with Kurt Hawkins because he's doing the wrestling school thing, and I feel like his wrestling school is going to end up like having some sort of like relationship with Kurt Hawkins' wrestling school. So I feel like he'll want to be with Kurt instead of going to be with Cody.
I can tell you one thing though. There is one piece of news. You just said wrestling school and it reminded me. Somebody's opening a wrestling school up online.
Flatbackswrestlingschool.com. That's Tyler Breeze. Flatbackswrestlingschool.com.
No, it's not Tyler Breeze.
I know, but he always does shameless plugs on Up, Up, Down, Down.
I know, but there's somebody that's got a wrestling school. You wouldn't think they're starting a wrestling school.
Okay.
And it started on the most weirdest platform ever.
Who is it?
Enzo is starting a wrestling school.
Oh, bullshit.
OnlyFans.
Bullshit.
OnlyFans? Wow.
Yes.
Bullshit.
I'm so serious. It's on one of Instagram pages. He literally said that he's starting a wrestling school and it's going to be shown off through OnlyFans.
Bullshit.
He will be the first wrestler to be on the OnlyFans and don't do anything sexual.
All right, let's go. Fuck that shit. I'm Darth Messiah. The Dark Side Savior, always forever on his worst behavior. And you, sir.
I am Alex, the motherfucking Hill, and best believe I am going to subscribe to that OnlyFans just so I can see what the hell is happening.
All right, we're out of here. See you next week.